Guys, welcome back to Clockwork Dandy Noodles, the show where we get traumatized every single week by To Your Eternity. We are back for episode 18. That does mean we are slowly sliding into the final quarter of To Your Eternity. One hell of a long season. Very rare that we get seasons as long as we used to back in the old day when every single season was 24 episodes long. This is a long one, guys. We stuck through it. We're getting traumatized more and more. I think everybody on this show who keeps tuning in, and myself, we all deserve a very big vacation after this, because this anime really does take a lot out of you. It is just one hell of a mental roller coaster. It messes with you, it breaks your heart. I got into the point of overthinking everything. One hell of a ride, guys. But do make sure you are subscribed, because we are now 4 weeks away from having the end of the season, which means 2 videos are going in your way for your face to enjoy. Number 1, you have my end of season review, where I finally tell you what I think of this season as a whole. Please don't hate me, because I have a feeling it's going to be controversial. Number 2, we're going to talk about the next season coming our way. It's a season full of sequels. Every single one of the shows I have chosen to break down with you is a sequel, so I really hope you guys have watched stuff and you're going to be watching stuff again with me. We are the Pain Train family, and we are united once again through our pain. My goodness, this episode. I don't know what was going on this episode. Everything that can go wrong will go wrong. Fushi died. Well, did die. He went back to his very early form of being the orb, the very first thing we ever saw. I'm going to say he died, and this is him kind of resurrecting, but at the same time, it's one hell of a resurrection to get this guy back on his feet. But right now, for the beginning of my talk with you guys, we're going to go with Fushi being dead. Let's move on to Kohaku, because we only get to talk about him once this episode. He has seen Saw, and we have to appreciate that. I don't know what number Saw movie is out. I think I've seen 3 of them. Completely lost track because it's not my thing. They're not my kind of movie, even though I'm watching this anime, and this is basically Saw, this first chunk. It's taken a very long time for him to do this. The only honourable thing Kohaku has done now is by cutting off his arm. You needed to remove that thing. The person I feel so sorry for in this entire sequence, whilst he is going all sore on everybody, it's March. March gets front row tickets to see him hack off his hand. Well, she's 6. She's now witnessing the full-grown adult ripping out his own arm right in front of her. We're off to a good start, guys. That's the kind of episode we're in for. Didn't cry this episode. All of my tears were used up last night after watching Trigun. Fushi all this time has been running away. He's just been out of reach of March. March is trying to find Fushi. She's been trying to find him all this time. Confirmation that Perona Horse has the ability to heal. Perhaps, immortal. The narrator struck a deal with her, and I'm guessing this is it. Narrator isn't exactly very chatty this week, even though we do technically see him. So after Kohaku goes all sore on us, he doesn't pass out. He doesn't die of loss of blood. If you cut off your arm, I've never done it before, but from what I have seen from all of these true crime things that I keep watching, if any part of you is removed, there's going to be a huge loss of human being juice. You don't get that with Kohaku. He's still sitting upright, and enough for him to maybe run away, because we go back a bit later and he's no longer around, and I don't think the doctor got to him in time. I have to say, Bon throughout this entire season has been a man of his gut. Sense when things are going wrong. Obviously, he's got ghosts on his side helping him. Bon, my dude, you need to start playing the lottery, because his senses about Fushi dying is accurate. He jumps quite quickly to Fushi has died. Despite the fact that this is an immortal, we're not going to think that it's impossible. He does give us the info dump that 200 years has passed since March has died. Wow, it's been one hell of a ride, guys. No wonder we're all traumatized and really needing that break, because every single one of us in the Pain Train family has sat through 200 years of just trauma. I did like the way March referred to Bon as Uncle Bon. When Fushi is no longer with us, we start to lose ground. Now, everything up until this point has been teetering on the edge. Even with Fushi in control of the city, it wasn't like 80-20. It's always been pretty 50-50 for me. I think it's been very close. But as soon as Fushi is removed from the picture, hell breaks loose. We've got a big list of people dying. I can't keep up with them. There's a lot of characters now who are dead. All 3 of the immortal soldiers are dead right now. Hayase Noka runs away and does the worst thing possible, because this is the episode where everything goes wrong. Kohaku vanishes. Might see him next week anyway. My boy comes briefly to soothe my soul. He literally has one line, which really heartbroke me, because I love the narrator and it's been a very long week. I'd love to hear Kenjiro Suda say something. Technically, he does speak in the latest My Hero Academia, so I'm very happy with that. He gives us one tiny hint, and that is just take it back. He responds to March, which is quite nice. What is worse than having your life taken? It doesn't matter about the situation, which is why I do believe that March is fully on the side of Fushi and To Your Eternity Project, which I'm going to start calling it. The idea of even having your life stolen is just absolutely horrible. Take it back is obviously the little hint that we got. You think Fushi has died, go and reclaim his soul. Very typical narrator being as vague as possible to make sure that we don't know if he's good or bad. I still think he's good. I just think he's very bad at communicating, and because he doesn't know how to interact with anybody. He's just an enigma, but that is Becca's personal opinion. Echo immediately comes in holding her arm, and I was so sus. I was like, oh no, here we go. Because everything is going wrong. She immediately knows where Fushi is because she can sense inanimate objects and sounds. It was either she'd been wounded in a very suspicious place in the arm, or you knew exactly what had happened. And of course, it is the latter, because this is the episode that goes wrong. To Your Eternity theme playing on a piano in soft form was just music for my soul. The one thing about To Your Eternity is the soundtrack is just ace. I love the soundtrack. I'm a big fan of soundtracks. Having piano softly playing in the background, having the entire piece start to swell up. You know how to move me. The anime knows what it's doing. I would love to do more breakdowns when it comes to music. I keep saying that I really want to talk about Trigun Stampede's soundtrack. It's a nice divided topic, but I don't think I'm a big enough channel to get away with it just yet. Echo indeed has been infected by Hayase Knocker. I'm still calling it Hayase Knocker despite the fact that I know it's a knocker and it's not quite her. I want to believe Hayase turned into a knocker because the knockers are the worst things ever. 200 years of pain and destruction from one person is just wrong. I want Hayase gone. And I don't exactly know how it's going to happen because it seems to be even worse now. Echo literally does the right thing. I have to end it. I can't be alive because this thing is just horrible. We have to take our hats off to Echo as a character, and I really am contemplating giving her best girl in my end of season review because Echo is a character who can't really talk. She doesn't really know how to communicate with people, but she's able to understand the situation so quickly, learns through all the stuff that she's seen, all of the emotions that she can sense. This is a very bad thing. And right now, the only thing I can really do is take my own life, get rid of it once and for all. The knocker decides that actually I'm not going to let you have the easy way out. I'm going to stop you from falling off the roof. My heart was in my chest though when she was just looking around her. I was like, maybe she's sensing Fushi, but no, she's trying to gather the courage to end it. And I honestly think that is one of the bravest things. And that's why I also am giving mega kudos to Bon this season, because what he does in this next sequence, I knew he was going to die. I knew at some point he was going to die. He was just far too important. The anime kept doing fake outs. I just knew that at some point Bon was destined to cross over. I just didn't know how they were going to do it. He starts to figure out that if I can't reach Fushi on the mortal plane, I'm going to have to cross over and talk to Fushi in a different plane. You can see all of the ghost forms that are perhaps around in the place who decide to reach out, help try and communicate to Fushi. Some of them I think could be the 3 immortals. I'm not quite sure whose hands are there. There's like 5 hands. Next sequence, which is very meta. We've gone into the metaverse for a little bit with Fushi being surrounded by forms. Hi, I'm Gugu. That broke me. I was like, I can't hear you, Gugu, but I know you're there. Still trying to reach out. He's kind of got a form, but not quite. See, the one form that hasn't been taken, that is Bon, reaches him on the spiritual plane. It's one of those animes that really does throw you through a loop because we've done a lot of discussion on the soul and fatalism, and we're still here talking about the idea of a soul. I'm hoping that Bon is going to be brought back as an immortal friend. Really touching moment because you see Bon sacrificing it all. Most honourable thing, because I think he also kind of blames himself for the situation that's happened, because he says, it's my fault that Kohaku's done this, because he was the one who stopped Kohaku cutting his arm off in the first place, and it could have ended just there and then. We wouldn't have known about the attack. But at the same time, the knocker's been leading every single knocker on. It's been giving them all the information. It's overheard all of the information and it knows everything. The moment where you see Bon as king, this is my dream, I'm dead, but this is the one dream I had. The crown hitting the floor telling you that Bon found something more important. The crown hits the floor and that's when you lose the sound. I often praise shows that lose sound, use that as an impact thing. Turning out the sound in a very high octane moment in an anime is powerful because you rely on sensors when you're watching anime. It's not just seeing the characters on screen. A good story is told by its sound, by its visuals, by everything that's going on in the composition. To Your Eternity cuts the sound because we enter a spiritual realm. Not a lot is known about this. There's a lot of people who are divided on whether we have a soul or anything and whether there is an afterlife. I like the fact that they chose to cut the sound at this point. Like, we're underwater and it's muted. You can hear the voice actors for those characters there, but they're not quite there. But seeing Bon as well, such a powerful moment. Really like it. But it really is going bad to worse back on the human plane. The knockers are wiping out quite a few of our cast list. I am struggling to keep on top of everybody who has died. There's a lot of death. It's a very bad day to be a human. Echo taking her life and then being stopped with the Fushi in the arm. As if I really needed to be traumatized anymore by having Fushi's head sticking out of her arm. And the fact that it can now talk to her as well, it is just absolutely horrible. It times up with the Perona knocker. We see the Perona knocker killing more of our cast. The Knockers have decided that they can now use the forms. I don't know why they've suddenly only just had that ability to start using them. That is terrifying because Fushi had a lot of forms. I lost count of how many he had. Now every single one of these characters is owned by the enemy. And every single one of those characters is going to do a lot more death than just a plain little knocker hopping around with like little spindly things. The Fushi head out of the arm thing, horrible. It does it to protect itself and it refuses to let her let go of the roof. Even if Echo is trying to end it all, do the right thing, it would seem that she's powerless against Hayase Knocker. Hayase Knocker reminds us all that the hashtag fuck Hayase is still around. I hate the character. I don't even remember if she got best villain in her season because I hated her so much. She might have missed out narrowly to someone like Erin. Can't even remember what was airing back then, guys. It's been a very long time since I thought about season 1. I have a feeling it probably went to someone else. I hate her as a character. I physically hate her. And I know we're debating whether it's just a knocker at this point. I think the knocker has taken on all of her characteristics and I'm just going to call it Hayase Knocker. But the very last sequence that gives us all hope, there are 2 bonds laying on the floor at the end. Fushi is definitely back. He's back because we get all those little flashing black warnings floating around. He can sense pain. The boy has chosen the worst time to come back. He's got all of those real big flashes going on because everybody's being wiped out. Now, I've tried to keep a rough count on who's died, who's relatively important. Bon is dead. Kohaku is vanished for now. Echo is definitely in trouble. Camus is definitely dead under a ball. I don't think he's coming back. The girl he tried to save is pretty much dead meat because of Perona. Perona is now killing people mercilessly in the knocker form. A really bad situation going on as well up by the hospital. There is a lot of death going on, struggling to keep up on it. Basically, it's bad. This is the week where everything is flashing red. Every single light on your dashboard has just come up at once and your car's ticking and you don't know what that whirring sound is. But right now, Fushi is back, but he's only got one form. He's only got Bon's form and I don't quite know how he's going to utilise Bon. Bon is very charismatic. Bon also is very good at leading people, but I don't know how Fushi's going to use this to turn around a very bad situation because everything that is going wrong has gone wrong. Guys, we have 2 episodes left. There are now only 2 episodes left of season 2, which does make me think there could be a season 3, whether the season's done okay or not. It is still sitting at 7.9 on Mal, which is really good. It's hovering under 8. First season, I think, got 8.2 or something. It has done pretty consistent to stay where it is, despite a lot of people not watching it now. I think the amount of people watching it has gone down. We officially have 2 episodes left. Next week, I think we're going to have to try and take the situation back. The last episode is going to have to be us maybe coming out of the war. I definitely now think there's more material out there for another season, and I think somebody in the comments did. Yes, there's enough for another season at the most. Very excited to see where we go. I'm very traumatized. I had my heart broken last night by 2 different animes. I'm going to go away and watch something a bit more cheerful, but I can't wait to be back with you guys next week. We've only really got 2 more chances to meet. You guys really have been absolutely amazing throughout all of these 20 episodes. Thank you guys so much, especially if you've been watching from the start, like season 1, episode 1. One of the big reasons why I started this channel in the first place was simply to just have people to talk and discuss anime with. You guys are that. You are all my Pain Train family. I love every single one of you. Even if you are finding me this late in the series, you're here for the last 2 episodes. It all means a lot to me. So thank you guys so much. I will see you guys again next week. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye.